I've not got much to say in this intro, other than it's been a while since I've covered a Union Castle liner in one of these videos. So, I decided to cover one that has a name I wouldn't recommend reading quickly, as you might read it as something not safe for the age rating of my channel. So, sit back, relax and grab a snack, as in today's video we'll be taking a look at the Union Castle Line's RMS Pendennis Castle. Also, quick side note, I am recording this video in the middle of a heatwave. It's like 30 degrees outside, let alone in my bedroom, and I'm sweating my tits off. So, if you can hear something in the background, that's my fan, and I'm very sorry. Anyways.
Do you recognize one of the grandest ships that ever carried the British flag?
It's great to be here for the opening of the Dudley Hippodrome.
A theatrical landmark could disappear if plans to demolish it go ahead.
Had a wonderful war record, sinking 2 enemy submarines and carrying thousands of troops in safety. They called her the Old Reliable.
In the 1950s, the Union Castle Line's Arundel Castle was becoming outdated, even despite the refit she received in the 30s. The Union Castle Line saw this and decided it was time to build a brand new ship, leading them to order what would become the Pendennis Castle. The Pendennis Castle was going to be built by the absolute legend that is Harland and Wolff, and she was going to be powered by lovely steam turbines that would give her a service speed of 22 knots. Her interiors weren't anything too amazing and was very typical at the time. Pendennis' construction process would be a semi-interesting one, with her keel being laid down on the 8th of May 1955. During her construction, the Union Castle Line would merge with the Clan Line. You might be sitting there wondering how this affected the Pendennis Castle. Well, if you are, then wonder no more, as the management from the Clan Line decided that they wanted the Pendennis Castle to be larger. Never mind the fact that her hull was almost practically finished. Well, anyways, despite the fact that someone at Harland and Wolff's management was probably screaming into a pillow, the Pendennis Castle would lengthen by about 18 feet. However, this would not be the last construction-related mishap, as the Pendennis Castle's launch would be delayed in 1957 from the 10th of December to the 24th, thanks to a strike. Then, finally, on the 14th of November 1958, Pendennis Castle would be delivered to the Union Castle Line. The Pendennis Castle set off on her maiden voyage on the 1st of January 1959, which would prove uneventful. 5 years into her career, in 1964, the Pendennis Castle would receive a minor refit that would add an extra shower and update her air conditioning, something I could really do with. Then, 4 years later, on the 27th of May, disaster would strike the Pendennis Castle, as while docked in Southampton, she would catch fire, with the fire reportedly being so hot that her plates were glowing. Woo! And that the firefighters could only be on board for 10 minutes at a time before having to exit the ship due to the heat. Once again, know that feeling. Thankfully though, the fire would eventually be extinguished at the cost of 14 cabins being gutted, and one of her 2 elevators being out of service for the remainder of her career. Yet somehow she would still set sail on her next voyage on the 7th of June. However, another incident would occur in 1969, as labour disputes would see the Pendennis Castle would divert to Antwerp, where she would accidentally strike the quayside. Then, later that very same year, Pendennis would break a record for the fastest crossing between Cape Town and Southampton. Despite this, however, she couldn't compete with the good old-fashioned aeroplanes, leading to the Union Castle Line to pull her from service after one final crossing on the 14th of June 1976. Following her withdrawal from service, the Union Castle Line would put her up for sale, leading her to be sold to the Ocean Queen Navigation Company. Following her sale, she would be renamed Ocean Queen. She then sailed to Hong Kong to be converted into a cruise ship, and was painted in a new white livery. However, she would never sail as a cruise ship, and would in fact stay idle, being sold again in 1978, being renamed to Sinbad, which is probably a bad omen, as she departed from Hong Kong to then be scrapped. Yeah. Never name a ship Sinbad. Anyways, this obviously would end the career of one of the greatest Union Castle liners to exist. While she may look like an eyesore, and she may not have been iconic as some of the other ships from her era, the Pendennis Castle is still an interesting tale from a shipping line that is often overshadowed by fellow maritime enthusiasts. Anyways, thank you all for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please boop that like and subscribe button, as it really helps my channel. And also, I did kind of just sweat like so many buckets making this video, or at least recording this video, so please, I beg of you, make my sacrifice worth it, god damn it! Hey, shut up! You're supposed to conclude the video! I didn't invite you to this epilogue! Well, I did! Now conclude the video, or else you'll have a much bigger heat to deal with. Fine! Thank you all for watching, everyone, and I shall hopefully see you in my next video. Goodbye! There, you happy? Ha! Now you're gonna deal with the heat stroke! No!